Let's be real. You run out of excuses. You can't afford to keep waiting for the right time, the right energy, or the right motivation to finish your dissertation. Because that right time that you keep waiting for is never coming. And every month that passes is one more month of tuition, shame, and exhaustion that you don't need to carry. I have been working with doctoral students for over 8 years from every program, every institution, every type of dissertation. And I could tell you this with absolute confidence. You don't need more time. You need structure, support, and systems that work for how you work. And in this episode, I am going to break this down because over the past 8 years inside of private coaching and the Finish Your Dissertation Institute, I have worked with students who have come from unimaginable circumstances to cutting down their dissertation process in half, and they win awards for their research. They win standing ovations from their committee and the people who attend their defenses, and they are celebrated by their programs. They are still heavily sought after because of the work that we've been able to do. And it's not because they know some special like secret that you don't know or that I'm not about to tell you in this episode. It's because they stopped pretending that they could figure this all out by themselves and stop struggling by themselves and invest it in the type of support, systems, and accountability that they needed. So, in this episode, I want you to only listen if you are ready to handle the truth and you are ready to do or implement the things that are going to help you to get to graduation. So, I see you, okay, because I was you. You at this point have talked so much shit to yourself about why is it taking you so long? Why are you not done? Why are you not doing all the things that you're supposed to do? That you're beyond trying to force yourself in that way to do it. Now you're just numbing your emotions. You're eating whatever is in sight. You're scrolling all the way to the wee hours in the morning and going to work exhausted the next day. You are telling everybody who would listen how it's so unfair for you and your process hasn't been as easy as everyone else. But I just want you to know that all of this doesn't have to be this way. For some of you, if you can handle this, a lot of this you are bringing on yourself, not because you're like some such awful person. It's because you refuse to see the reality of the situation. You're so busy focusing on how you're not measuring up or how you don't deserve to be doctored that you're not seeing the complete picture in the way that you think you are. I'm going to talk about the three biggest lies that I see and I hear students tell themselves that is keeping them stuck. Before I tell you what you need to do, I want to talk about the reason why you feel like you're going in circles. And like I said, go get your blanket or your fidget toy because this is hard, okay? So lie number one, I have an advisor, I shouldn't need any more support. So this is what happens when people, I don't know, they find my content on Instagram, or maybe somebody has sent you this podcast, or you've been listening to the podcast for a while, or you stumbled upon this, and you're like, this is cool in theory. I get why other people might need a dissertation coach, but my advisor is dope. Like, I shouldn't need anybody. My advisor just needs to get it together and show up for me like they're quote unquote supposed to do. And let me just say, for the people who you have advisors or dissertation chairs who meet with you regularly, like they meet with you weekly, bi-weekly, they are helping you to brainstorm and they're a thought partner. They look over drafts no matter how shitty they are. They send you resources. They help you process the emotional parts of this process. And overall, you feel safe and you feel like they're dependable and you feel like things are good. I'm not talking to you. This episode is not for you. If you want to listen, I invite you to, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to other people who are saying things to themselves like, it should be this way. My advisor should do this. It's their job. Like, I pay my tuition, so they're supposed to do XYZ. Or, the people who are like, I can't get the feedback that I need, or my advisor just keeps telling me to keep going. I'm talking to you. Because you might be thinking, I'm only talking to the people who have these horrendous stories to tell about their advisor. No, no, no. Who I'm really talking to is the people who you think is good. It look good on paper, but you still not getting what you need. And how we know you're not getting what you need is you're not at graduation. If you keep meeting with your advisor month after month and you're still writing that same section of the literature review, I invite you to consider that you're not getting the type of support you need. And we don't need to demonize your advisor. We don't need to call them a bad person. Not at all. Because if you know anything about me, I'm going to tell you to your face and I'm going to reiterate through this episode, it's not their job to do all of that. It's not their job to meet with you regularly. It's not their job to give you feedback. It's not their job to hold your hand while you work through whatever emotions you're working through. Their job is simply to review a completed proposal and a completed dissertation and say yay or nay if you met the requirements and the standards set forth by the program. It's not their job to do anything else. But because you keep thinking about how great they are in their own research projects and you keep thinking like, well, they're not cussing me out or they're not being mean to me, that you think, okay, well, everything is Gucci. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're still in the same place. You deserve to have someone who understands your topic, who understands the type of work style that you have, who is willing to listen to you as you process things. You deserve to have all of that. I am saying that that person most likely is not your advisor. And I'm going to use the word advisor throughout this because people have different terms and whatnot. And I want to make this as applicable to everyone. Okay, so then that might lead you to lie number 2, where you feel like, well, if I got help for those things, that's me cheating. I'm not taking the rigorous way out. I'm not doing this process like I'm supposed to be doing. You have convinced yourself that asking for help is weakness. It's evidence that you don't deserve to be doctor because you can't do this alone. That makes absolutely no sense. No, seriously, I want you to think about the last 4 to 5 people who you have witnessed graduating and defending their dissertation. You want to tell me that every single one of them did it by themselves? They didn't have no help at all. They didn't have anyone looking at their work. They didn't have anyone processing. They didn't have anyone, trying to help them make decisions. You mean to tell me they did it absolutely alone? I'm here to tell you, no, I've worked with thousands of students and I'm going to tell you that that's false. That is a story that you're just used to telling yourself. The people who get to the finish line, especially if they get to the finish line with their health and their sanity intact, they have so much help that you probably just didn't see or you didn't know or you just chose to ignore. You chose to be like, couldn't be me, won't be me. I'm going to do it by myself. You're going to be by yourself stuck and you won't be doctor. The people who do anything that's a huge goal, like becoming a doctor, they have so much support. They have support on things that you don't even think about. They have someone being like, this is the font you use. This is the page. Let me connect you to this editor. Oh, let me connect you to this group who's doing this exact study that you're doing. And they have this book and that book. Let me connect you to the original author. Let me sit here while you cry about how frustrating it is to rewrite the findings for the 4th time. They have such unimaginable help. That is why they're moving at a pace that you think is unfair, that you think, oh, I must be lacking something or something must be wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just ain't asking for help. You just don't have anybody around you helping you. And you think asking for help or getting help is cheating. That's the issue. That's the lie. That's what's stopping your progress. For many of you, if you got around a group or people who you actually told them the truth about your progress, you actually told them how much you were struggling, you actually told them like what you needed, and they would be able to give it to you. They would be able to empathize with you. They would be able to say, me too, and this is how I got through it. But because you won't be honest, because you think asking for help is weakness, that's why you're stuck and that's why you're not going to graduate. Which brings us to lie number 3. I don't even know what a dissertation coach is, girl. I'm still listening to this episode and I might need one. But what exactly is a dissertation coach and how does it differ from my advisor? I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. A dissertation coach fills in the gap between, right? I said your advisor's job is to review a completed proposal, a completed dissertation, and say where it meets the mark and where it doesn't. Do you hear my words there? A completed. So, how do you get yourself to write a completed proposal or a completed dissertation when you need help? You invest in someone like me, or you have someone already in your community who can help you with the day-to-day responsibilities of finishing a dissertation. How I help people is we first get very clear on, okay, what's the goal? When are you graduating? And how do you break down the weeks and the months in between? Like, what is exactly do you need to be focusing on? How do you need to focus on? And how do you like balance all of that out so that you get to graduation when you want to? Because remember what I said, that is not your chair's or your advisor's job. Their job is just to review a completed process. My job as a coach is to help you get to the completed proposal or the completed dissertation so you can show up with something. So let me go deeper and like exactly how I help people so that you can have an idea. Now, all dissertation coaches are not created equal. People have their own processes. I'm just here to tell you about mine. And the primary way that I work with doc students is through my signature program called the Finish Your Dissertation Institute. It is a 6-month process and you can stay in as long as you want to, but you sign up for 6 months at a time. And the first thing that you do is you meet with me. You have private coaching. You have a session every 30 days. In this session, we get very clear on what is the overall timeline, what is the outline of your research plan, and making sure all of those pieces are in alignment, that they go together, that it makes sense that you will go from this problem to offering this solution and getting this data in these ways in a way that makes sense and they all work together. And once we have that bigger picture, then what you would leave with that from that private session is a monthly assignment checklist of things that you need to do in order to complete it. But we don't stop there. So the private session is to make sure your plan is personalized to you. I get to know you. I get into the nooks and the crannies of your research. I challenge your thinking. And essentially, I am helping you to develop what is your central argument. A dissertation comes down to this is what I believe, this is why I believe it, and this is how I'm going to demonstrate to you that I'm right, because that's what the data is doing. Most stock students don't know how to do that. They think that's what they're doing. No, you're just yelling in the void, saying what you like, you're saying what you feel, but you're not saying why you feel it and you're not backing it up with literature because you don't know that you need to present an argument. Let me get off my soapbox. But that's the first thing that we do is making sure that you are clear not only on the big picture, but what you need to do for the next 30 days. So, how do you get yourself to do what you need to do for the next 30 days? Well, then we have weekly calls. We have 3 calls every week. We start the week off with a planning call because just because I gave you a checklist for the 30 days, you need to know how to break that checklist down into weekly checklists. So how do you break it down even more to bite-sized pieces so that you can show up week after week, make consistent progress without burning yourself out? We operate on a 10-hour weekly schedule. Yes, you only need 10 hours. When you got the right plan and the right systems behind you, you only need 10 hours to make unbelievable progress. And if you are like, well, it just take me 10 hours to get organized, that's why you over there stuck. That's why you over there spinning in circles and it's you spending more money and more time because you think more hours means I'm more dedicated or more serious. No, when you know how to structure your time and you have the right support behind you, 10 hours is more than enough because most students in FYD they don't even work a full 10 hours and they are still finishing dissertations 12 months or less. Okay. So the first call is a planning call. The second call is I offer Q&A weekly sessions where I am answering your questions because you're going to have things that pop up in between our private sessions that you need to work through. But there'll also be other students from finish your dissertation who are there. And you may not be the one who has your hand raised asking a question. Somebody else may have a question, and it may be a question that you didn't even know you had, but you're so glad that they raised their hand and asked for. It's the next step that you're heading towards, right? You might be working on your literature review, but they're working on IRB and they ask a question that you're like, I didn't even think about that. Thank you. Let me file that away. So when I get to that section, I know exactly what to do. I know how to move, but it's your check-in. Most people use the Q&A call as a check-in to say, here's what I'm doing. This is my progress. This is what I'm working on for the next week. And they will essentially use the call like as background noise while they're working and writing. And then our third call is a write with us call where you write in community. The whole purpose of these calls is to make sure you have dedicated time wrapped in accountability to getting your work done, to executing your weekly plan. we ask that people come to at least one call a week. We understand that you may not come to all three, but we're saying you need to come to at least one call a week because it is your weekly reset. It is how you're going to remind yourself, oh, this is what I said I was going to do. This is my goal for the month. How much progress am I making? And when you get distracted or life starts lifing, it is your reminder to say, hey, you can still do this. You got this. We're here to support you. The third way that FYD helps is every month we have 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat. It is the final push of the month because we work in 30-day increments towards one goal. This 2-day retreat, which is 8 hours total, is your final push towards executing your monthly plan. And it helps you to prepare for your next private session when you get a whole new list of activities you need to complete for the next month. I am there for both days. I am walking you through the scholar writing routine where I teach you a 5-step process for how to go from this is what I'm working on to it's completed and ready to go. And we also do work around how do you fortify yourself and get the mindset and the motivation to keep going. We do that. It's lovely. And during those weeks when we have the 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat, we do not have the other three calls because this program is modeling for you how you show up, do amazing work, but also take care of yourself. Because what I care about is that you take care of yourself because it makes no sense to get to the end, to get to graduation, and you don't remember nothing that happened. You're so burnt out that you can't even handle the congratulations and everybody calling you doctor. The FYD students, when they get to graduation, the way they are in their room, they look good, they feel good. They are fully enjoying the experience. They know that they belong there and they have like 10,000% confidence that they're going to pass. Why? Because it's work that we've been doing throughout the entire time that they have been in finish your dissertation. The fourth way we help you is you have 24/7 access to our dissertation vault and our resource vault. The dissertation vault teaches you how to write each chapter. It tells you what goes in each chapter. It gives you examples and it gives you video walkthroughs. So you don't have to wait for somebody to tell you, you know exactly what to do. And the resource vault is all the things that are in between. So how do you keep your committee on track, especially when that other committee member want to act like they not on your committee and they want to play in your face? We talk about that too. We have trainings in there of like, what do you do when writing gets so hard and you don't have any motivation? We talk about how do you build up your confidence when you feel like everything that you're doing, you're unsure of, you don't know why you're doing it. We talk about how do you put boundaries down even with your committee when again when they plan in your face, or how do you write, how do you edit, how do you want to take your planning to the next level? There's trainings in that too. This is a comprehensive program of not only how to finish your dissertation but how to be a doctor and walk in rooms like it and be able to respond when anyone asks you to do something or they call on your expertise. You have tools at your disposal to be like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is why our students are so confident. They move so quickly because they have these tools. And many people will tell me they like spend their time in the dissertation and resource vault, and I only see them at the end. They're like, I'm done. Like some people do that. Some people use a mix of both, but I have built a program that I desperately needed as a student because I had so many questions and I was so confused and people were not being clear about the purpose of this process and how you complete it. And it's so much hidden curriculum. I put it all in these two vaults. So all you have to do is press play and follow instructions. And the fifth and final way, which I argue is the best way we help you, is that we invite you into a community of scholars who are like you. They are ambitious, they're the leader of their dissertation process. They're not taking no for an answer. And they show up like they get shit done and they're not going to let you play small. And they're not going to let you diddle daddle over there. They're going to be like, hey, what are you doing? Because we're graduating. You're graduating with us. This is not a community where people are trying to one up you or make you feel bad about your research. No, this is the community of people who are like, tell me more. That sounds cool. Even if what you're doing is completely like light years away from their own research, people have a genuine curiosity a spirit of collaboration and a spirit of support in this group. Like at any time, you can come into our community platform and you will see people saying, "Hey, I'm going to write today. You should join me." Or, "Hey, I want to shout out so and so because they did a hard thing." Like, I am so extremely proud of the community that we built. And I argue that the community is worth the investment alone. So, what does this have to do with your advisor? I want to make sure we are clear. Your advisor cannot do all these things. It's not their job. They could, but it's not their job to do all these things. And they may not have capacity to do all these things. And they may not even know to do all these things because, like, quite frankly, they may have had a process where they didn't even see their dissertation advisor at all. And the only time they saw their committee was at the final defenses. So they were like, "I got it out the mud. You got to get out the mud." And it may not have anything to do with like malicious intent. It just may be like, that's what the process is. Or they just may have so much going on with their own research, their own classes, their own life, their own mental well being that they can't be all things for you. And even if you have an amazing relationship with your advisor, there's just some things that they're not and won't and they can't do, that they just are not going to do. And Finish Your Dissertation Institute comes in really nicely to fill in those gaps and to help you to show up with your advisor with something, and it helps you to help them to help you. Let me say that slowly. So we help you to go to your advisor and make it easy for them to help you. We make it easy for them to give you feedback that is meaningful and that you can actually use. We make it easy for you to know how to navigate the tricky political situations and still come out on top. We make it easy for you to walk into their office or walk into their defense feeling very confident and certain that you got this, that you're going to graduate. We fill in the gaps. I am not taking the place of your advisor. I'm not taking the place of your committee. I am a complement to that. I am helping you to show up and get the support that you need so you can graduate. I just want you to consider this. What you are doing, it's not working, friend. The process, the same routines, you sitting in front of your computer and your laptop, it's not working. You've been writing that literature review for years at this point. You've been telling people, this my year, I'm going to graduate for years. You about to hit that 10-year clock and you keep trying to do the same thing, expecting different results. And you know that that means insanity, right? Are you willing to let go of the stories of, "Well, my advisor should do this," or "If I'm asking for help, it's cheating," or "I don't even know why I would need a coach or what the point is or why I should even pay my money." If you're willing to let those things go, you could be at graduation by May. At the time I'm recording this is October. I have helped people in this same timeline go from "I don't have a proposal at all" to "I'm graduating in May." And I want you to be one of those people. But you have to make the decision. You have to take the leap and say, "You know what? I'm going to invest in myself because I'm getting to graduation one way or another." And when you are ready to make the decision, I will see you inside the Finish Your Dissertation Institute.